So good evening, everyone. Welcome to our December AF Mixer meeting. Um, thanks for putting up with the technical difficulties here, but such is winter when you're dealing with wireless home internet. Um, anyway, this is going to be fairly brief agenda, I guess. It's a recap of the 4 days at my cottage earlier in November, and then just a round table. Nothing else on the agenda as far as I'm aware, unless anybody has anything they'd like to put on the agenda. Please come now. If not, we'll get right into the show. So, what I've done, I've requested pictures from the attendees at the gathering that we had on starting on November 6th last month. Um, and got about 150 odd photos from people, culled them about 50 pictures, so about a third of them or so for the presentation. And hopefully it gives you a flavor of what went on and encourages you to come out to other events. I see about maybe half of the people that are on the meeting tonight were at the event, the other half not. So let's get started. This is our second event that we had up at the cottage, and our second really multi-day gathering, other than field days that we've had in the past. But once again, successful. I think all the attendees were very pleased with the feedback that I had afterwards from the show. No animals were injured during the event either, so that's good. Yeah, there was a lot of learning, a lot of stuff that we shared, both with show and tell as well as just casual conversation. So all of it, most of it, technical. So we will start with just a picture of the cottage. There was, I think, probably on the second day, we had pretty good weather for the event. That's looking at the back of the cottage, the lake behind the photo. That's looking at the other direction, out over Sparrow Lake. You're essentially looking at the Trent Severn waterway there, which is only a few hundred feet out from our shoreline. So there can be lots of traffic in the warm weather, but not really a whole lot for the duration that we were up. We'd see the odd fishing boat out, but that was about it. So we had a good turnout. I think in total there were 9 attendees, either 8 or 9, something like that, coming and going. So pretty much as expected. And we were never really over capacity, thankfully, because as you can see, we had some external sleeping accommodations. Charlie had the luxury of self-contained, sleeping, portable sleeping arrangements with everything that he needed in there. But that worked out quite well. He hooked up to our the mains power on the cottage, but that was only because it was there. The neat thing about this is totally self-contained with all the creature comforts of life in there for him. So, which also freed up a space for somebody in the cottage and the bunk beds to sleep in, which I don't think ever really got necessary. I think there was always one spare bunk, if I'm not mistaken. So, anyway, so there's Charlie doing something with a slingshot in his hand, with Kevin in behind him. So he's putting up his dipole, I believe, that he had with him. I'm not sure the technical details on that, and he's not on the call to comment. But I think uh, Kevin's as well. He was putting up an N-fed antenna. So those of you that were here, by the way, just to put you on notice that we're at the event, I may call on you to discuss any of the technical things that you were doing when the appropriate pictures come up. So there's a little closer view with Kevin's ladder line and what have you. So but everybody's antenna that went up was more or less successful with what they wanted to achieve, given what what was available as far as trees and all that. So I think most people were pretty satisfied with their results in the end. You could actually see on a tripod near the shoreline there is a disc cone antenna. I think there's another picture of it a little closer up with it. That was my assembly there, a little bit low to the ground for any real effective use, but did pick up some transmissions. I believe it was a repeater that I got from, it was probably the one in Stouffville, and there was something else I can't remember as well that was picked up, but I think that was a different antenna. But anyway, there you go. That was basically a VHF and above disc cone there. Oh, there it is. A little bit closer. So lots of interference from the metal legs on the tripod, probably, but some coupling to it. But anyway, regardless, that's what we got to use. And there's another dipole. I'm not sure whose that was. If anybody knows, they could certainly pipe up. But and that's with a little bit less grayer weather, showing the shot down the side along the back sides of all the cottages. So I think we can see also a dipole on the left side of the screen there. So so inside the cottage, that was pretty much the layout. Not all the tables were set up there, but I think when Peter and I arrived, that was pretty much what we were looking at with the table configuration. So hard to tell from the shot and the angle, but plenty of space, workbench tables for people to work on. So there Michael was showing off one of his I believe it's a transceiver there. I don't believe that Michael's on the call tonight, but can anyone who was in attendance speak to what Michael was showing off there?
I think that's his. I think that's his automatic antenna switch, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So there you go. There is Dave's tracer from times before. Did you want to talk, Dave, at all about what you were doing with your transistor tracer while you're up there?
No, that's okay. Continue on. I've already talked about this previously at other presentations.
You weren't doing anything unique, right, with it here? No.
No.
I'll mention something.
Sure.
We got Dave bring it up because I brought up a transistor that I had a bunch of transistors that I wasn't familiar with what they were doing. It seemed to have a very high HFE, and we thought, well, let's run it on the transistor tracer. And I think there were some other components so in other words, we just played with it just to see how it did and how it worked, that kind of thing. That's all. In other words, experimenting around.
And it worked.
Yeah. Don't remember the results now, but it worked.
All right, and this is Dave's Z80 project. So he was also demonstrating that, and I think having some success with tinkering while he was up at the cottage. So that was certainly a interesting thing to finally see in the flesh, so to speak. So All right, so we've got Michael and Peter working away probably on the Wednesday evening or late afternoon, what have you. So a little bit more equipment out on the tables at that point. This was a kind of a neat thing, a fairly large capacity lithium iron phosphate battery that Charlie brought to show, and actually got used a little bit. I think there's a picture of Cherry working on a something using it as a power source, probably overkill, but the neat thing about this battery is the price. You know, these things used to go for upwards of $800 to $1,000 or so, and this particular brand now apparently got for somewhere in the $200 to $300 range, something like that, Canadian.
So, light. Wasn't that heavy at all?
Nope, nope. So compared, if you've ever heaved a 100 amp hour lead acid, you almost need a hand truck for it. So, but yeah, anyway, very cool. So something to consider if you're looking for portable power that's going to last you a long time. So he brought it more as show and tell than to actually use it, but there you go. So again, lots of relaxing time as well. You could decide on how much technical stuff you want to do versus your sitting around and shooting the shit, so to speak. There is also time for some of us that were musically inclined to mess around. So some oscillating instruments were brought. Actually, I guess they're all oscillating in the end, but some more than others. At least some analog. Actually, I guess technically everything was analog because that synth there is an analog.
We experimented with some bass band stuff.
We did. There you go. And some loops. Some loops. Dave couldn't get enough of the loops. The tracks I was laying down, he was very enamored of that. So again, this is Peter's bench, again with an array, and to the left there facing away you can see Michael's setup. I think they brought their scopes, analyzers, signal generators, just about everything, and that's the Phoenix board, I believe, sitting front and center on Peter's workbench there. So monkeying around with that. And there is Michael at his appointed station, working away. Yeah, so and that was Dave, I believe, working on the Z80, getting some things done with that, while interested onlookers are peering over his shoulder. And well, that's when probably a little later in the night, and had enough of the brains got full and had to let loose a little bit. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. A little more closer up of the music corner, I'll call it. There's me working away. So this would be, I guess, one of the maybe Thursday or Friday morning with Kevin, who was, I think he was working on an antenna for the most part. He was trying to get something up and running. I think he had a couple projects, but I believe one of them was working on an antenna. So
he's working on his end fed and was having some trouble with the coils or something. I can't remember. Matching something rings a bell like that anyway.
Yeah, Balun maybe, or what have you. So I believe this is Charlie's, if I'm not mistaken. Brought a little digital scope, so that came in handy for a few things throughout the weekend. So, or the days that we were there. Again, tinkering with some things there. Is there? I'm not sure, Dave, if you want to talk to this slide at all. What you were working on here. You're muted, by the way. There you go.
No, I can't remember. I think that was the I think that was the signal generator. That was we were trying to figure out something to do with the Phoenix.
Yeah, I think we were starting to.
Oh no, that's the DCR.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
the
DCR.
DCR.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
testing.
that's the DCR.
Right. Once you had it built, there you go. Yeah, because you built it there, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's a DCR. We were just connecting it up to see what's the lowest signal we could hear. We were connecting it up to a signal source.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Peter with the Phoenix board again. What were you specifically trying to accomplish with the Phoenix there, Peter, at the cottage?
We were trying to align the BFOs, the BFOs with the crystal filter, and you can kind of see there. I got the PCB layout up there on the schematic and whatnot. I'm not sure why, but anyway, it was an interesting exercise. I'm not too sure how many hours Dave and I lost. I have to include Dave in on it because the two of us fed off of each other. And I think after the first several hours, we realized we were doing something wrong, which I can't remember, which we all had a good laugh about it and and learned from it. And then the next day we started back off again and almost started to make the same mistake, but we caught ourselves before we got too far. But basically it was trying to align the crystal filter.
Okay. There's Charlie working away. He was mostly working, I think, with his Nano VNA while he was up there. That was one of the primary things, in addition to setting up an antenna that he was using for some receiving, I believe. Receive only is what he was working on, and I think he was maybe running some tests on the antenna with his Nano VNA. So
it was a lot of it was firmware, Eric.
Yeah, there was that too, right? Yeah.
I think there was about four guys brought up their VNAs, and they all were looking to upgrade firmwares, and that sucked up a lot of time. Was trying to sort it out.
Yeah, because everybody had different versions of the Nano VNA, different generations of them. So I know I got mine upgraded to the latest firmware. It didn't have any problems, but I know Dave was having some issues with his, but that could have just been connection issues with the computer. There's a lot of variables with these things, but I think in the end, everybody was successful in getting things done. So that was good.
It's the process, the process of upgrading the Nano VNA. It's not well understood. There's no how-to guide showing you how to do it. So it's kind of, you have to figure it out.
Yeah, true enough. But once they were upgraded, we were pretty pleased with the results. There was success when we were measuring things, length of cables, for instance. We were doing some time domain, which actually ended up being fairly simple to do once everything was configured. 1 month on, ask me how to do it again. I might struggle with it a little bit, but maybe a topic for a future presentation, one of our evenings here, as to how to upgrade your Nano VNA if you have one, and at least one use of it. So yeah, there's Kevin, Peter, and Dave again working away. That might have been with the alignment that you were doing. Another angle, same crew. Again, lots of the equipment or pretty much all the equipment was put to use at one point or another that we had up there. So it's good. Again, there's the Phoenix and a little closer view of it. Dave having success with something. I'm not sure what they're seeing there, but obviously they're pleased, or Dave's just showing us that he had showered and could raise his arm without all of us suffering. So anyway, happy crew. So I believe that's Dave's as well, if I'm not mistaken. or it might be, oh no, I think, is that Michael's? That might be Michael's.
I'm gonna say that's Michael's.
Yeah. All right, a little more R&R, lots of food there. The food was very good all around. Everybody contributed, and we were never short. In fact, had so much that took us probably half an hour to pack everything up at the end of the event on Sunday. Lots of leftovers. So thank you again for everybody that contributed to the food. And it was great. There's Charlie and I setting up the disco and trying to get it all tightened up. There's Hassan, who came up, I think, on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, looking very skeptically at one of Peter's pontifications. But
it was one of the best theories I'd ever come up with. And then look at the reaction I got out of it.
Yeah.
To remind me what the theory was.
Yeah, whatever it is, I'm sure you've been thinking about it ever since, right, Hassan? So.
I'll still be tired after a long drive.
Dave with his morning tea getting going. I think that is a morning shot, or at least in the first half of the day. Michael, again, working away with his nice big screen Nano VNA. I think he was also getting to know the use of it a little bit better while he was up there. So happy with all of his equipment up and running. Peter was enjoying a little brew there. Not an uncommon sighting of Peter up at the cottage, I must say. And after he had a drink, he actually sounded much better, got much better as he went along with the alcohol. So more in tune anyway. Oh yeah, the schematic cookies. So yeah, that was just my little contribution of put together a circuit with, and then, eat your circuit when you're done. So how many times can you say you've done that? Fortunately, nobody really got creative like I thought they would with, circuits, or didn't give them enough time to, but that's basically all we came up with. So
you're just upset that I did put a common emitter amplifier together out of it, and then you quickly destroyed it. That's your problem.
I don't know, if you put a common emitter together, it sure wasn't right. So what do you know about common emitter amplifiers anyway, right? All right, so there we go, another R&R. Ken came up, I believe it was Friday as well. I might be confused between the two of them. Hassan might have been up on Thursday. Ken was the Friday to Saturday person. So again, some comings and goings throughout the days up there. Dave and Peter again trying to get the Phoenix working away. On the Saturday late afternoon, I guess it was, just before sunset, campfire was enjoyed by the assembled. So it was pretty cool, but nice for November. So I think that was enjoyable. There's Dave working on the DCR that projects kits, I should say, that Ken brought up. He brought up for all the people that were there, and Dave put his together and got it working. I'm quite certain that he was actually doing some receiving with it before the weekend was out. So again, another morning shot, probably again the Saturday morning. Everybody working away. I believe Kevin had left by that point. He had to check out a day or two early. And there's Peter up at his desk. This was some components that Ken brought that had been in storage for some time, I believe. So they were destined for Kingston, but made a stop up on Sparrow Lake. So it was mostly real components that the vultures descended upon. So there's 3 of them pecking through things. So some nice scores were had from that. So there's again another outdoor shot showing the cottage we were at on the right-hand side of that photo. And I think we are at the end of the slideshow. So that's pretty much the overview of our Wednesday to Sunday event. So lots of good times and memories made there. So I think everybody was pretty happy with the outcome, and hopefully we'll have a chance to do it again sometime soon. Peter.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks again, Eric, for hosting. It was fantastic 4 days that we had up there. Lots of fun, just as good as the first one. The only thing I don't think we got done that I was hoping to get done on those days was actually going over our test gear and looking at some of the finer things with our test gear. We never did kind of get around to that, but we certainly, which only just goes to show that we had enough to do to keep us occupied and had a lot of fun out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly speak for myself that I brought up more things than I had time to do in the end, at least in any depth. But like I said, my biggest accomplishment was getting the bass line recorded, because Dave was just playing it over and over again on the looper. So, I knew that I had succeeded there. So.
I got a new routine for you. I'll send it to you.
All right.
But yeah, okay. You made me forget what I was going to say when you talked about your bass line. It drove me crazy. Whoops.
I'm surprised he hasn't asked me to play it for him tonight again. So, Michael, good evening. Glad you could join us.
Bit late.
That's
got
okay.
Got the last bit of the presentation. I'll look at it online later.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to second the comments about how much fun it was, and thanks again for doing that. I had to leave. I think I left on Thursday, Friday, I guess. I forget now. But I enjoyed it and learned a lot. So
yeah,
thanks.
well, I noticed you were. I was kind of speaking on your behalf. Really, you were, I guess, working a lot on your Nano VNA while you were up there. That was one of your primary tasks. So
well, what I did, we upgraded a couple of we upgraded the firmware on a couple of them, and mine was one of them. So it's set up for the latest firmware, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to play with the spectrum analyzer. Sorry, I got to play with the spectrum analyzer and the scope a bit too, which was also good.
Okay, good. So just an overall learning on your test equipment. So
yeah, that's right.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, no, I can certainly say I got a lot more familiar with my Nano VNA as far as testing antennas and feed lines with it. So two of the primary purposes, I guess, that we use it for, right? So. So yeah, anybody else who is in attendance have any comments, or anyone who is not in attendance have any questions? Kevin, good evening.
Yep. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. How are things in
Okay,
Texas?
good. Very warm and rainy. So yeah, it's like almost, I don't know, maybe 25 degrees out there right now. Anyway.
Yeah,
it's not going to last, but yeah, it's quite nice tonight. But yeah, I just wanted to echo everybody else. Thank you very much for hosting us and putting up with us and providing a place to play radio. Even your neighbors know, right? Like I was out there hanging up that trapped dipole I was working on, and he goes something about, well, it must be the radio weekend or something. He knew all about it. It's like a bunch of ham radio guys. You go, yep. Says okay. Anyway, so
yeah, reputation precedes. So
yeah, you apparently are well known in the community there.
Yeah, the neighborhood pariah. That's what I'm known as. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, thanks again.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Yeah, neighbors know that they're going to trip a lot when they're walking.
Well, they don't mind us because we're quiet. We're not like a rowdy bunch of hooligans, right?
Yeah, for the most part, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. There's still, there's a little bit of nervousness, right?
that presentation will be on Incognito channel.
Yeah, exactly. There's some, some interesting videos that Dave took that might not be safe for work. So, but what happened at the cottage stays at the cottage, I guess. So, anyway, I will stop sharing my screen if I. All right, so that is gone. Peter, again, yes.
I was going to say the other thing that I liked about these weekends is that we brought up our own projects and you're working on them. You have a little bit of problems here or there, and you know what? It's really good to have other people around and you're talking about it, and different things get pointed out, and it really can help you move along. Because sometimes if you're on your own in your shack and you're working away on something, you can get really blinkered and start going down the wrong path. Now,
feedback is a lot better than Google searches, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I will admit that I did go down the path for half a day with somebody who I won't mention, but we still learned something from it, right, Dave? Oops.
Yeah, well, I guess that's
true. I know nothing. I know nothing. I see nothing.
You know what? We had a good laugh about it after that one day, and then, which wasn't so bad. You thought, okay, fool us once, no problem. But when we started to go down that same path the next day.
Yep. Oh well. So yeah, hopefully we can do something like this again. We're talking about having at least a one-day event sometime in the late winter, I believe, February, March, something like that, which I think would be very much in the same vein as this, just in a condensed form. Ken, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, Bob, you should have come up for a few days. You could have gone swimming too.
Oh, you're muted, Bob. Bob, you're muted.
Okay, I had a Canadian summer, or was that a Atlanta winter down here? So I wasn't there in body, but like my blood was there in cold.
You would have froze your ass off.
Yeah, well, I did a good job here. It's unfortunate, since our QRP, since the pandemic, when we lost our QRP club meeting space, we haven't had a group of makers and builders and kit builders in the Atlanta metro area. And I'm kind of hoping we can get some of the guys back together again. It's really been difficult for me doing stuff all by my lonesome here.
Hey, we should take a trip down there and show them how it's done.
We should Jitsi our buildathons.
Do that.
And if you come down here, I'll trade you. I'll send your geese back up.
We can take them back with us.
Yes, you please do.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a sufficient discussion of our event there. So thank you again, all, for your participation. I had just as much fun and was happy to be taking the abuse from the parties who shall not be named again and again and again. So. All right, so we'll move on to the casual part of this evening, which is what's going on in your part of the world, on your bench or otherwise, whether you have time for ham stuff, general electronics, or whatever it may be. So we'll just go around the screen here from my perspective, and that falls on Drew for starters. So what's going on with you?
Well, what's going on? Nothing a lot radio. We've been cleaning out my mother-in-law's house as she moved into an apartment. And this has yielded a wild amount of old photographic equipment. And kind of dating back to the days when I used to sell it back in the 70s. Anyways, a movie projector came up from 1955. So I had to refurbish it and get it running because I have probably a barracks box full of 8mm films to put onto digital that I'm doing just by projection onto a screen and then videotaping from behind. Getting the parts for the 1955 projector was kind of interesting. So that's kind of where I've been. I regret that I haven't been doing an awful lot of radio lately.
Yeah.
I did buy a signal generator just in case the kit you guys have won't be for a while. Because I want to build that, want to build a little radio I bought, and the signal generator is necessary.
You mean you haven't done anything with your balloons then since last time we chatted?
I've spent a lot of time watching how they inflate them. And it's kind of interesting. I get it now how they do it, but I understand why people were blowing these things up all the time. There's not much to them. The balloons themselves are insanely fragile. So that's going to be a learning experience. It's going to cost me a few to do it, but it's the pressure isn't much, but just slowly inflating. There's a whole process they go through, and now I understand why. So
Well, if you're going to blow one up, make sure you film it.
Well, absolutely. Oh yeah, no. And because it's with hydrogen, it has two versions of blow up, and I'm going to go with the pressure, not the inflammation.
Wow. I guess, I mean, pretty much the process is all about pre-stretching, right?
It is. And there's a lot of discussion about that. And I'm not sure yet I understand. I know why they want to take it up to, about 5 inches of water. But I'm not sure how much extra capacity that gets you in terms of loft. I think that's that's what they're trying to do, is make the balloon bigger, or being able to survive at 45,000 feet, 40,000 feet. They have to pre-stretch it because it won't survive otherwise. For these cheap Chinese Mylar balloons, which is what they're pushing all the time. Their group's IO is pretty good. There's a lot of information in there, more than I've been able to absorb.
Right. So you're looking at a spring launch, summer launch, something like that?
I'd like to, yeah. I'd like to, especially if I can do it during the season when the Americans are watching the horizon for Chinese infiltration.
Right. Have them waste another $250,000 missile?
Well, I was wondering how many balloons I'd have to put together so I could just loft about a 30-foot roll of aluminum foil. Not that I would do that. That would be bad.
Yes. Yeah. No. Not that it's being recorded anywhere either. So.
No. I'm limited. I'm glad that we have a limited audience.
All right. There you go.
Of course, we can edit this out afterwards, as we always do on talk shows.
Right. Yes. For sure. Although the NSA might have already picked it up. So.
Oh, I've been told I'm on several lists, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm kind of used to it. I have Alexa, so I'm sure that anybody who wants to know anything, they already know it.
Right. Plus those parts for a projector, that puts you on the suspicious list. Who else would be buying parts for a 1959 projector?
Funny thing is, the bulb worked.
It
hasn't been turned on since the 80s, and everything worked except the drive belt.
Ah, okay. Did you have to fabricate anything, or did you just buy?
I'm using rubber bands as a drive belt.
Okay.
I actually bought one from Europe, and it arrived, and rubber bands work better. So yeah, once I got it up and running, it actually synced right in and shows them beautifully. And I have an extra bulb, but it was amazing to find a bulb that would work.
Actually, Peter's right. I have parts for a 1958 projector drive belt. That would probably fit, wouldn't it? No?
Depends on the make. This one was a UMIG. It's Austrian.
Yeah.
The weird thing is I used to sell its younger cousin at Kmart years ago.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was nice to get back into photography and get back into that sort of thing. It's something I haven't done for a long time.
Right. And a very analog way of transferring, but hey, it's effective, right? So.
Well, I was explaining that to my son who lives in the digital world. And so I set this thing up on the table, projected the image and recorded it. And, of course, it's backwards. So then you can flip it. You can put in a handbrake or something and just flip the image. So it's back to normal. And it was a little strange for him to see somebody actually having to do this. And I said, everybody did this. This is how movies were shown on television years ago.
Yep.
It's just a makeup of a telecine. That's all it is.
Yep. No different from making mixtapes from the radio. So.
Well, I even got the editing equipment for the 8mm.
Oh wow.
So I have the tape and the cutter and the whole thing.
Oh.
Like, it's entirely retro, but as I understand it, these days such things are worth about $5.
Make him an offer, Eric.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
if you want
keep
that,
it
I got an enlarger too. You know.
Oh, nice.
You can soup your own black and whites. It's a Bessler 23C. It's a nice machine. Top of the line, dichroic head.
I used to have an enlarger. I don't think I do anymore, though. I'll check the barn.
Yeah.
But I've got lots of Ilford paper if anybody needs it. So
That's interesting. How old is it?
Oh, probably 25, 30 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was kept in the freezer, so I don't know.
I thought all of that world was dead.
Yeah.
And at a fan expo about 10 years ago, I went to a camera store just south of, along Yonge Street up near Eaton Center. And he was loaded with it, selling it to the Ryerson students.
Okay, right. A lot
I
further.
didn't have any idea that existed. And apparently it's like vinyl records. It's showing a resurgence in interest.
Yeah. Oh, there's a makerspace in Toronto that has a little dark room all fully operational. So, yeah.
Yes, hacklab.to. I was about to say that.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I was surprised to see anybody even knew what I was talking about. And Ryerson has a whole community that does it. Part of their programs.
I actually have an 8mm projector as well, although all our home movies are on a single reel and they got stuck in it and I can't open it out. So it's kind of sitting there. Well,
so,
it's yeah.
No, is it like the reel itself is like it melted?
It didn't melt, it just got stalled. So on the sprocket. So I have to take off the front, but for some reason I couldn't disassemble it. Last I tried was 8 years ago. So when I screw up enough courage, I'll try again.
Bring it to the next, event.
You get to the point where you got nothing left to lose. That's when you make
might be able to help.
Cut it open. Yeah, but I have a slide projector from my father's wedding, and it's amazing. The quality is so beautiful. Like people are shocked when I pop it up there. And I have it scanned and I played it on my TV. It's just not the same.
No, the colors between the bulb and the film, that connection you don't make anymore. The color balances are not the same.
Yeah.
I was noticing that with the Kodachrome movie film, it's really got a lovely warm feature to it that you don't get with digital.
That's right. Yeah, the digital color gamut is not perfect, but people don't know that.
No, well, there's no comparison. You have no comparison. Oh, I thought you'd just grown an extra beard, Eric.
He's not in focus, though, is he?
Well, I'm doing this on the phone, so I just saw this fuzzy thing appear in your face. I thought, that's odd.
I don't think
so camera stuff, not radio stuff, but radio stuff is coming back. I'm interested to hear from anyone who had experiences upgrading the software on the Nano VNA. I have one of the earlier versions, and I understand that you can upgrade the software or the firmware in it, but I haven't done it. And one of the features I'm looking for is its ability to, apparently you can use it as a signal generator. So when the round robin goes, I'd be interested in anybody's opinion on that one.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of that, so that would be interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised. There was a fellow doing Nano VNA stuff, and he had, of course, the newest, latest, greatest.
All right. So thanks for your updates, Drew. We'll move on to Peter, who's next on my...
Well, really, it's been virtually nothing but, well, it's not active probe anymore. It's preamp probe, we're calling it. But it's basically been pretty much nothing but that in the shack. Other than it took me 2 days to get my shack put back together again, maybe even 3 days to get it put back together again after 4 days at Eric's cottage. But I also took advantage of doing some cleaning the dust. But anyway, yeah, nothing but the probe stuff. Today we managed to spend an awful lot of time today with Dave as well, and I think I just about fried myself of probe stuff for at least for today. We'll get back at it tomorrow, but that's all we've been doing in the shack of late. Eric, thank you.
Okay, yeah, lots of emails flying back and forth, I've noticed, so that's good. Lots of activity.
And a lot of others going on that you didn't even see.
Right,
I'm
sure.
There's been a lot between text messaging and emails, and then we even had an impromptu Jitsi session. But anyway, it's all good stuff. Good stuff. It's better than doing crosswords.
Right. Okay, very good. Howard, you're next on my screen. What's going on?
Haven't been doing too much. I got distracted a bit with trying to refurbish a 70s era radio, transistor based, that Peter and I were just talking about before the call. But other than that, I plan to put together the DCR and then from there go back to my T41, which I've been a long dragged out process, but I'm at the PA stage, so I'm hoping to finish that and then see if I can get it working.
All right, very good. Hopefully once you have it up and running, you'll give us a demo.
Well, I hope so, without smoke.
Yep. Well, maybe not the first light, but after it, after the first smoke. That's what we should call it, right? Like in telescopes, first light, first smoke. So
let's hope not.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Howard. Ken, what's happening down in Brampton?
Not much. Big change. I've actually done something on my bench the last week or so. I guess one of the first things is I picked up an old DX60 Heathkit transmitter from Peter. So I've been doing some research into that, looking for recap kits, possibly repainting the chassis because it's kind of scraped up and everything. Apparently there's a couple of guys in States that have put paint colors together. So I've been looking into that, looking at the cost of getting new tubes. The basic tubes are cheap. The final is like $45 US, 61.46. But I'd have to look around for
Ken,
a better price.
Ken,
Yeah.
send me an email with the tubes that you need, because we got a guy here in town. I don't know if he's brought all the tubes down from down east into Kingston yet or not, but I know he has told me in the past he's got like a gazillion tubes. So he got it from his dad, who's now a silent key. And anyway, so send me a list of what tubes you need, and I'll forward it and see if he's got any.
Yeah, I'll do that. The standard tubes are pretty cheap, so I'm not too worried about that. It's the finals that's getting pretty expensive. But anyway, so I'm working on that. Also, too, when you guys went down to Dayton in the spring, there, I had placed an order with Rex for some crystals, and I also picked up his WWV receiver kit. Big mistake. This is probably going to be my last kit that I build of Rex. It's just a total disaster. Actually, let me share. Where's share? I'm going to share the entire screen. Okay, you guys can see?
Yep, we're seeing your screen now.
Okay, so this is Rex's WWV receiver. It's basically the same as our DCR. The only difference is he's got a plug-in VFO with a crystal. Um, the instructions suck. It's just like plug in your or solder in your resistors, your capacitors, blah blah blah. It's only like 2 or 3 pages of instructions. That's it. Um, now, looking back at the parts list, so here's the schematic. So it's basically the same thing except for the filter. Um, the kit was missing this diode, this 5818. It was missing the varactor up here. It was missing one of the 2 toroids, and for some reason I got 3 extra resistors. And if you look at the parts list, there's no diode on here and there's no varactor on here whatsoever. But it does have the 2 toroids. So, and if we actually look at the schematic here, it says 3 options for the varactor. See assembly manual. There's nothing in the assembly manual about the 3 options whatsoever. So, luckily enough, I've got the diode, I got the varactor, and I've got the toroid. So I'll finish this up. But it's basically the same thing as our DCR. He actually had this for a buildathon. There's only one mention of the varactor here, but nothing about 3 options. So, yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I think I'm at this stage here, just putting the jacks in. And I got to dig up the varactor and put it in. But other than that, that is pretty much it.
Are you inclined to tell him?
I don't know. I don't know how he would feel about me commenting.
No, I don't think he'd have any problem with it. He'd probably just be apologetic and offer to send them to you direct, the missing stuff. But he should really know about the errata in the document, though, right?
Yeah. Well, the document's from 2019, so
yeah.
I think this was intentionally designed or put together for a buildathon.
Right.
And
maybe in a rush.
Yeah.
Ken,
yeah.
I suggest that maybe you should pass on this information to Rex's Canadian distributor.
Oh, I got an effective filing system for those comments. Don't worry. So.
Yeah, so I was looking for a quick build, and it's not going to happen. Probably, maybe this weekend I'll get it done. I don't know. We'll see. But I got to decipher the schematic, whatever's in the build manual, and the extra notes he provided. And yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing. Oh, I got a question for who else has built the DCR besides Dave and Frank? Nobody? Okay. I'm just asking to find out if it worked right off the bat. So far I've built like 3 of them, different versions, and Dave built his at Eric's cottage. I think he did it in an hour and a half or something like that. Plugged it in, it worked right away.
Yep.
Cool.
That's what I remember.
And Bob, there's a manual you can download from our group.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've posted a link a couple of weeks ago. And if you actually look at my posting, if you go to the bottom, there's a download link.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
Yeah, if you don't find it, let me know and I'll send it to you.
Okay. I'm not, I'm kind of in limbo right now because I'm about to relocate. So I've got to think about how to not kind of downsize, but just reorganize things and compress things and different ways of arrangements in whatever new place we find.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes two of us, Bob.
Okay.
Yep.
We're a
In
sub
progress.
fraternity.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Bob, you can move in with Eric at his cottage.
for the 4 days of summer.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. 4 days a year. That's about as much Georgia weather as we get up here. So, well, that's not true. It depends on the year. Anyway, well, since your mic is unmuted, Bob, if you're done, Ken, we'll move on. My screen is rearranged a little bit, so
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, well, I just say what I have to say. I'm trying to downsize. I've got so many things to build, and not enough time to build them in the current workbench. So I've got to take everything apart and put everything back together in the next couple of months. So right now, I'm just trying to think of how to get stuff packed up and how to get them stored temporarily until I'm able to get them into the new place. So I'm going to be in limbo for a couple of months.
okay. All right, fair enough. I guess we all reach that point at some time in our lives. So what can you do? It's a good opportunity to jettison some stuff, though, even if you don't have a lot of downsizing to do. So,
Well, I'm not going to go that far, but I'm just going to reorganize stuff.
okay, man, after my own heart. There you go. All right, thank you, Bob. Dave, you are next on my screen. If you're speaking to us, that is.
What Peter said. That's all I got to say. What Peter said.
What Peter said.
Peter and I have been banging our heads together the past week now, and so yeah, we're kickstarting both projects that we talked about for potential buildathons. The Pro project, we had our kickoff meeting last night with the team, and so that's underway. Myself, Peter, Hassan, and Michael, and Eric. I didn't miss anyone. So that's the team, and we've been assigned things, and we're working towards it. Tomorrow, the team for the backplane radios meeting, and we're gonna that's our kickoff meeting. So we'll be talking about how we're gonna move that project ahead. So that's about it.
Okay. By the way, did you see the email this afternoon, Dave, that there's a silent key from LobsterCon?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. You're on the list. Brad.
Brad passed away?
Yeah. Died. Cancer got him.
Oh, Brad was the guy in the trailer?
Yeah, the happy, talkative guy, white beard.
Yeah. That's the guy who had the sign saying, "Sandy, please come."
Right.
Next
That's
year.
the one. Yeah.
That's he's a nice man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his company.
Yeah. You'll see an email if you check this afternoon. It came in around 2
I
o'clock.
I just saw it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw it now. From Bruce Bedford.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is, but anyway, so yeah, for those that are here, just a regular at LobsterCon, which basically was its last one by Rex this past year. I don't know if everybody knows that or not, but it was his 25th LobsterCon, and he is no longer hosting them. It remains to be seen whether it will continue, but I would say Brad was almost the second driving force behind LobsterCon, from what I know of it, from attending I guess 3 times now. So anyway,
maybe we can get Rex to do a private LobsterCon for just us.
I think we need to have an intervention for Rex.
That's right.
First on his Quonset hut, and second on his manuals.
No. We're not going anywhere near his place. We're going off-site.
Well, maybe we can have
burner, and I'm gonna have to work on this the active probe. So I guess that's top of the priority list now.
All right. Very good. Okay. Thanks for that update, Hassan. Michael, I believe you are next.
Yeah, I haven't been doing much. I did think what I would do is start with the signal source and try to learn a bit about the signal source. So the one that was built in 2017. So I have two. I have mine and Daniel VE3NIs here, and I've been checking them out with the spectrum analyzer and learning a few things about them. And as part of that, I thought, well, I'll just put the schematic into LT Spice, and I did that, and haven't yet got it to run, which we talked about last night a bit, and I've got a few emails from Dave and stuff, so I'm going to play around with that a bit. But the idea is to make what I first started thinking about was getting it to run as on a circuit, and check the results against what actually I'm measuring with the signal source, and I haven't got that far yet. But that was the idea behind it. I did have a design for from last, I guess it was last year when we did the looking at the crystal oscillator stuff, or the crystal characterization stuff using the SNA. And I tried one of those, and the sucker isn't starting. And I think from discussions, it looks like maybe it needs to be given a kick to get it going. I'm going to have a look at that anyway. So doing that, and I'm participating in the probe thing. So yeah, that's about it for now. Nothing else. So that's me. And
Okay.
oh, by the way, Drew, I have there's a groups IO for the Nano VNA,
Okay.
and in there is a wiki, and the wiki has stuff on how to do the firmware updates.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so you can look there and see, and it's there's a guy that has a GitHub thing. The guy, one of the original designers, Dislord is his name, so to
Right.
speak. And he's got there's various forms of the firmware depending on which one you have. So which nano you have. I have the firmware that we used at Eric's place for the latest one. Well, I guess I bought mine a few years ago, but it does it did work fine. So you just got to get the right software. The STM Microelectronics, I think it is, provides the software, that the firmware bootloader thing you have to use. So anyway, it's described in the Nano VNA user group. If you have any trouble, let me know.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you very much. That's I have a much older one. I did buy it when they first came out, and I bought it off an American distributor, radio company somewhere in the States, anyways. But it was an original from him, so it's not one of the clones, but it's got a
that's
small.
yours.
It's one of the ones with a small screen.
Yeah, the 2.8 one. I bought my H4 from RNL Electronics.
That's the guys.
Yeah, they're really good. They've got all the right stuff and whatnot. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, that's great. Thank you.
Have a look. If you have problems, let me know.
I will do.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the small version of it too, and I use that Dislord version of the procedure. Worked on the first try, no problems whatsoever, to bring it right up to, I believe, a September 2024 firmware date. So, and
I guess the one question I have is, what did you gain when you did that?
Well, it was some functionality, I think, that were perhaps more manual before that become automated, like cable length, for instance, is now, I don't, again, I'm not positive that it wasn't an option before, but it certainly was a very obvious menu option this time. So, it just simplifies some of the things, I
That
think.
would
But like I
certainly
said,
help.
yeah, I'd say it was a significant firmware jump in my case. So.
As to what I gained, not much other than the satisfaction of doing it.
Fair enough.
Making sure I could do it, and it works. And there are, by the way, if you look on you can find. I don't know whether yours has, the original ones had the little map, a little menu thing, menu tree thing. Those are around, depending on which version you got. It shows the various options and laid out. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. No problem.
Dave, you've had your hand up for a while. We'll get to you next, Howard. So, Dave.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to take my hand down. Yeah, no, I was going to just, I posted a message in the chat. If anyone knows of a good circuit for a 50 ohm broadband transistor base amplifier, low noise amplifier that does about 20 dB gain. It's got to be a single transistor, something simple. I posted a message from in the SOAREX group from a guy named Fez Electronics, where he designed one using a BFU 520. So I'm just wondering if anyone else in the group knows of anything like a single transistor type design, no transformers. I don't want to get into matching stuff. So if there's something just with resistors that can do 50 ohms, that would be perfect. Let me know. Please post it in the forum for me. Thanks.
Okay, Howard, you're next.
Yeah, thanks. I just had a quick question for Michael. Just to confirm that you're happy with your Tiny SA Ultra, the 4-inch screen, because I noticed at R&L they have them back in stock now.
I didn't buy the 4-inch screen. The one I bought was the original 2.8, and I bought that before I got my before I got the spectrum analyzer. So now I'm inclined to use the SA rather than the Tiny SA. But mine is the 2.8 version, not the Ultra.
Oh, so you think the 4-inch screen would be better based on what you have?
Well, I guess the screen is bigger, which means you can see things better. I think that's probably true. Yeah, if I were to do it over, and I were buying the Tiny SA, I'd get the 4-inch version for sure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Hey, Drew, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Howard, I bought one like Michael has, and the one thing I find a bit limiting is the upper range. The newer one, I believe, goes well past 1 gig.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's one thing I wish I had. The size I'm not so worried about because you can plug it into a computer and pull stuff off it anyways. But yeah, the one thing I wish I had was a higher range because it's just even with the LoRa stuff, it has trouble finding the LoRa stuff sometimes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because last time I checked a while ago, they were out of stock. So I was thinking about getting one before they get out of stock again.
They're pretty useful.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Marty, what's going on in your neck of the woods? You're still muted there, Marty, by the way.
Okay, how's that?
Yep, perfect.
All right. Well, I've been operating. As you know, I started doing Morse code in earnest at the beginning of COVID and sitting at home here, of course. And so I joined that SKCC group, which used manual keys and they've got quite a program. I don't know if any of you have tried it or not, but if you're interested in learning Morse code, get on with the SKCC boys. They've got quite a program. Straight Key Century Club is the name of the group. Anyway, I'm happy to report I was a Centurion for a while, and then a Tribune. I'm a Tribune now, and I'm 19 contacts away from becoming a senator. So who knows? These are all different contacts, so who knows how long that'll take. But that was kind of a goal that I had when I started this thing. So I'm up there now, and we'll hope that takes place in another couple of months. And apart from that, earlier this year, one of our members in Hamilton here issued a cupcake challenge to make a contact on HF with total equipment weighing less than 1 pound. So here is, if I can share my screen here. Okay, have you got my screen?
Not yet. Nope.
How about that?
Nope, not seeing anything yet.
All right, share screen.
Share entire screen.
Is that at the bottom?
That's the third from the left. Start
okay.
screen sharing. And then you
Yes.
can choose either a tab, a window, or entire screen. I find they all work, to be honest with you, but whatever you'd like.
Yeah, okay. Allow to share window I've got up here.
Just so you just click on the window you want and then share.
Okay.
There
Is
you
that
go.
the window there?
Yep. Yeah,
So
we
there's
see
the
table.
setup there. There was a vertical toy box antenna by Cushcraft and a Cricket kit, which is a CW, rock-bound CW 40-meter transceiver. And then I made an end-fed long wire antenna and tuned it. And there's the scale there. We weighed all the stuff before we started, and it came in about 14 ounces. And I successfully made a contact with Dave Burrows, VA3CP, and in using CW, and got a cupcake for my trouble.
Yeah, very good.
And well, you guys were up at the farm there. You were, putting up antennas and making antennas and so on. Here is the, if I can get it up. Can you see that? I don't know if if I'm sharing that now.
Same picture is still, we're in the same window that you were sharing. So
Okay, so I'm not sure how to change windows. Close window. Close window.
Yeah,
Now
stop
you got
sharing.
a window?
And then you just need to do that screen sharing again. So the third button from the left at the bottom, and then choose your tab or window or whatever.
Well.
Or entire screen if you want to.
Okay, down to the bottom again. Third thing over.
Yep.
Start screen sharing. Okay, that's what I didn't do.
Choose tab, window, or screen at the top, and then click whatever you want. There you go. Yep. We're seeing your screen now, I think.
There's the matching unit.
You know what? We lost it again there, Marty. Just want to try it one more time?
Old guys. Let's see here.
Maybe once you're a senator, this will all become easier.
I hope so. Anyway, I can't get to the bottom of the...
Your best probably just to select, once you hit the entire screen tab, then you click on the screen itself and then click on share.
Yeah, you had it up there earlier, Marty. You just hit canceled or whatever. I've lost Marty's video now, but So I wonder what the hot top in the SKCC is like. Do you become emperor at some point?
You become a VE.
That would be like going back down to Swabby, wouldn't it? No? Deck swab? Isn't that right, Bob?
Yeah. Did we lose Marty?
I think we lost Marty altogether, yeah.
And I had a question for him. Yeah,
Nope.
he left the meeting. Okay.
He'll be,
Oh,
yeah.
He's there, but he probably stopped sharing. He's probably lost his video now.
Yeah.
Because his mic is muted now.
Yeah. Oh, wait for him to come back. But in the meantime, Kevin, what's going on with you other than being in the land of the free?
Land of the free and home of the armed, right?
That's right. we were all speculating on what exactly you're doing down there. So maybe you could fill us in.
Just commissioning a new machine.
Ah, okay.
Nothing too exciting. Just same old. But no, my QMX is still on the bench, getting very slowly assembled, and I also have a DCR that apparently is a bit deaf. So at least that's what I remember from some testing. I think Dave and I don't know if it was Peter or somebody else was testing it, and it seemed to be a bit deaf at your cottage there. So I got to figure out what's going on with that. And yeah, and I still have my trapped antenna to lengthen because of course I cut too much off anyway. So but I have a Nano VNA that's all upgraded, and now I know a little bit more how to use it and all that, so it can help me out. So anyway.
Did you get anything out of your trap dipole while you were up at the cottage?
Oh yeah, no, it was working, and I thought I was cutting it the right length to tune it for 20 meters, but apparently my calculations were off or something anyway. So I ended up, measuring once and cutting twice, and that didn't work so well. So, but yeah, anyway, that's the way it goes, right? So, and I had bought that special, the very flexible, fine gauge Kevlar reinforced wire, that I think they are used for pack antennas and stuff too. So I was using that wire, and I don't have enough now to do it properly. But anyway, I'm sure I can find some somewhere.
I might have some.
Kevin, don't you work for a wire making company?
Yeah, but that wire is pretty special. There's not a lot of, put it this way, I've never seen a factory where they make that. I mean, the factory I'm in now, they do mainly power cable. So it's not, there's nothing like that in there. This is just your regular heavy duty, like 2-watt ground cable and that kind of stuff. So awful lot of copper around, but nothing like that specialty stuff.
Yeah, stuff I would take to a scrap dealer.
I think maybe with your seniority, Kevin, you need to start saying you're only exclusively going to work on ham radio wire companies.
That would be a very, very short list.
It might only be one day a week that you work, but hey, one day a year maybe.
One day a year maybe, yeah.
Every other year,
but
leap years.
Actually, that'd be okay if you're going to retire. What the heck, right?
Hey, if it's the same pay,
Yeah. Somehow I don't think that works out. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all I'm trying to do when I'm not down here. But anyway, I understand it's snowing up there, so y'all enjoy that. I'm sort of in company with Bob here. They're all complaining about the cold down here in Houston, and meanwhile, I'm just very happy that I don't have to shovel all that snow that's sitting in my driveway.
Yeah. Well, 80 degrees or whatever you said it was down there doesn't sound too bad. So.
Well, I think it was like 22 or 25 or something when I got back tonight. So anyway, That's all right. I missed 2 weeks of winter.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks for the update, Kevin. Marty, nice to see you back. Do you want to give screen sharing a try? We thought you had gotten sucked into the Matrix or something there, but
I did manage to turn the program off. Anyway, one more thing that I will share. I can put this up. Has anybody built one of these?
I've seen one of those before, but no, never.
Well, it's a resistive bridge circuit. It's called an MTEC. It's a kit, and it's a very easy to use QRP antenna tuner. And the red light goes out when the antenna is tuned. There's two controls, and it's an interesting kit. If you look up EMTECH, MTEC, it's a ZM2 antenna tuning unit. Works really well, and it's great. A lightweight unit for QRP, going out and doing POTA or something.
Peter, please go ahead.
I have to make a comment, Marty. What camera are you using? And I ask because all this time that we've been doing our Jitsi sessions, when everybody holds up something to their camera to show it off, it's usually kind of blurry, not a whole lot of detail. But yours was absolutely perfect.
I'm using the camera in the computer, and I can let you see the camera. That's the computer. It's a Apple computer, and there you are.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Oh, it's an Apple. That explains it.
Yes. I think Bob might be on an Apple too. He has a nice crisp picture too. Is that true, Bob?
I'm on an Apple phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, it's killing the bandwidth on my computer with the 8K resolution.
I think Eric is on a Z80.
Yeah, I'm on my PET, my 4032. So, all right. Okay. Thanks, Marty. And I think Wayne, you're last but not least. What's going on there? You got the mute on, by the way.
Okay, I see the mute off. Can you hear me?
You're good now. Yep.
Okay, that's weird. I had to toggle it. Okay, so in terms of what's on my bench, it's been nothing for a while. You guys might remember back in July, we had a kind of a major storm come through. It led to a number of floodings, including my own basement. As a result, the insurance company sort of came in, they tore the basement apart. They kind of did the remediation to make sure there'd be no mold in there. And then they parted ways with us and disappeared. They're coming back in January. And what that means is my bench and my shack are all, which you formerly were downstairs, are now distributed between a couple of rooms and upstairs and the garage. So I got nothing going on for that. However, I did do something, I guess, somewhat related to us. I've just sent off a paper to a journal I subscribe to. It's a journal for people who collect slide rules, okay? And it's about 1930s radio engineer who invented a calculator, it's a slide rule, that computes ground waves, the attenuation of ground waves across the surface of the Earth. Because his living was made building broadcast transmitters and antennas. Okay, so that's basically all I could talk to. I don't know if it's been accepted. They just took it and disappeared on me, so we'll see. And that's it.
Okay. You're in Mississauga, right, Wayne?
I am in Mississauga.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering about the flooding.
Well, we live in a neighborhood that there was, I think, about 50% of the houses in my neighborhood were flooded.
Right.
Do you live in the same neighborhood as Al?
Sorry?
You live in the same neighborhood as Al because his basement got flooded out as well.
I think Al is pretty far south of me, but I mean, we all got hit in Mississauga.
He's
I was
around.
driving home when the storm struck, and
Yeah,
we had to actually park the car for an hour.
He's around Dundas and here, Ontario.
Yeah, central.
Yeah, we're in the northwest.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking
All
of talking to Wayne and I and Daniel are going to be putting our DCRs together sometime. We're going to do it at my place, I think, probably, if that's the plan anyway.
Mhm.
Do it on the dining room table for whatever that's worth.
Why, is your basement wet too?
No, I live in a semi, and we have in Meadowvale, and we have been extremely lucky. The neighbor in the other half has had a couple of floods, but for whatever reason, we haven't been subject to those. So we've been very, very lucky. My daughter, on the other hand, had 2 feet of water in her basement in Etobicoke in July. And 10 years earlier, she had 4 feet in her basement. This is the second time for her. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how long it'll be before my shack is back because I had the cable to the antenna sort of below, subsurface against the wall, and I had to pull it out because I had to have the wall remediated after the flood. With they sealed on the outside, and it's sitting in the backyard now, getting snowed on. But I think by the end of January, my workspace will be back, and I'll be soldering again.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much, Wayne. Well, that's why I keep all of my most valuable possessions 10 feet up in the air. Dave can attest to that. There's no way that flood's ever going to, well, there's lots more things that we have to worry about if we get 10 feet of water. So, anyway, all right. Well, that's it. I think we've gone around the table with everybody. So, Ken, I don't think I missed you, but you've got something to share?
If people are familiar with what's his name? Simon. I saw Simon a couple weekends ago, and I'm not sure if he wants people to know, but he's calling it quits. He's selling the business probably early next year. He was talking about March, whatever. And I'll be going to see him again during the Christmas break. And he's got a bunch of stuff that he wants to get rid of. So I'm going to see what he has and see if it's worth keeping. But
I don't have a giant Faraday cage.
Well, he's
That would probably fit in the barn.
He's actually selling the whole shot. Whatever's in the shop at the time of sale gets transferred, according to him.
He's got some good test gear.
Yeah. So, he's calling it quits.
Well, he's got to be up there, eh?
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm up there, and I think he's older than me, so he's got to be really up there.
Yeah. But he's doing well. He's lost a lot of weight, but I think he's at the point now where he's hurting and he wants to call it quits. I had dropped by to give him his DCR kits, and we had a little bit of a talk, and that's when he brought it up that he's selling early next year.
I just saw him less than 2 weeks ago at the Mississauga Center's, the RASC astronomy meeting, astronomy club. I didn't have a chance to chat with him, just a quick hello, but anyway, he's looking good. Maybe he wants to relax and spend some time on some other activities like astronomy. He's pretty active with that. So
yeah, and he's pretty active with the old radio stuff too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So that's what's happening with Simon.
Okay. And Ken, while you're unmuted, are you? I guess this is a question for everybody, but are you planning on running a meeting in 2 weeks, mid-December?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can. Are we going to hold a December?
Yeah, that's the question.
Well, we've
So,
actually, I've got it noted as we've canceled it.
okay.
If you guys want to have a meeting, there's nothing scheduled for it. There's no presentations or anything like that. But if you want to have something, sure. But maybe just an open mic, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Actually, I may not even be around. I'm not quite sure. But I've been away from meetings for a few months now. I'm going to be attending them all now.
Okay. So starting mid the regular meeting in January, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Peter, do you have something else?
No, actually, I just brought my hand up to talk about the December 18th meeting, just to remind everybody that we have it canceled. But like I said, if, from my perspective, I'll be around. So maybe I'll just sign into at 7:30. And if anybody wants to have a chat about whatever.
Okay. So no formal meeting on the 18th then. That's
yeah. But I'll tell you what, I'll sign in. And if you want to have a tech round or a chit chat or whatever, we'll go with that. But there'll be nothing formal for sure.
If not, then the next one is a mixer, which is actually on New Year's Day, as it happens.
Cancel for sure.
Is it? Yeah.
Well, New Year's Day. Who's gonna be in shape to have a meeting on New Year's Day?
Well, by the evening,
Well, not if you had a good New Year's Eve.
Well, there's not going to be any Jamesons flowing at the Ayers residence, is there?
Oh no, because it'll be all gone by New Year's Eve.
All right. Okay. So there you go. A next formal meeting on the 15th, then I guess of January. So
hang on, and I'll just check our schedule for the 15th.
Yeah, make sure that you don't have somebody booked in already.
No, I think actually. January 17th.
That doesn't sound right.
No, you're right.
15th.
Right, it's on the wrong year. Oh, Charlie's going to talk about low-cost APRS for telemetry and other applications. That'll be on the January 15th meeting.
Okay, so we'll just say the next two. If anybody wants to sign in at 7:30 for the next, for the 18th of December and 1st of January, those that aren't in recovery.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just leave them open. Little holiday break. Okay, and Hassan, you've had your hand up.
I had a question for everyone. I wanted to design a board with an antenna switch for a small board. So on my SDR, I have an LNA and a filter, an AM filter, and I just screw small lengths of coax into it. But I wanted to have a switch. So what software do you use to design like a small PCB with just 50 ohm lines, 50 ohm impedance traces on it?
You mean a PCB software package?
No, like if I want to, I've got like short, like 4-inch lengths of coax between like parts of my SDR, so one box to another. Imagine the nano VNA with a 4-inch kind of small thing sticking out, plugging into like, a signal generator or something rare. But I want to have a switch there because I want to remove the filters in line sometimes. So I want to bypass them.
What levels are you dealing with? What signal levels are you dealing with?
10 milliwatts or less.
So could you not use like a pin diode and control them with like a microcontroller?
I don't know. I was just thinking a simple, like an antenna switch, but I want to know how to put it on a PCB and put a switch there. And how do you like design a PCB with 50 ohm traces on it?
Well, you mean what software like KiCad? Yeah, you could use that. They've got a calculator there that shows you how to design a microstrip for 50 ohms.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Hassan, if you don't know it, use KiCad because there's several of us here that are all using KiCad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've never used it, but
well, you should because the rest of us are, and it's much easier to share and also ask questions and get answers, right?
Okay. All
And
right, no, dude.
Hassan, if you want another good tool, it's called Easy EDA. There's several of the fab companies use that, and they have native integration. They've got everything built in, so they've got all their boards defined, all the parameters. You just go into cloud, design it, and hit a button, and JLC PCB prints it for you.
Oh, okay. Easy EDA, and okay, that's what I need. And then I'll 3D print a case because I'm tired of just like, screwing and unscrewing like coax connectors. I wanted a switch of some kind, but okay, that's what I'll have to do. JLPCB, and they'll even just build a PCB for me, right?
Yeah, and there's PCB Way, and there's another one in Mississauga or Oakville that Kelly used to use. What was the company, Ken, that he used to use? Can you remember?
No.
Um,
What's he ordering from?
they're not cheap. No, but he used to.
Yeah, they were.
Washpark.
He was just the.
Washpark.
He was the mailing address in Mississauga for the Chinese courthouse.
Yeah, it was Oshpark. But they're not cheap. They've been around a long time. They're not cheap. JLC PCB is probably the cheapest, but as
Oshpark
Peter
is stateside, right? Oshpark is
JLC
US.
PCB.
No,
Is it?
Oshpark is in the US. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
just
expensive but quality. So,
but you may want to speak to Peter offline, because Peter did he did look at PCB Way and JLC PCB, and he found some pros and cons around shipping and what to go and do. So speak to him offline about that.
Okay. I think Gel PCB does 3D printing as well, do they not?
Yep, they do. They do machining, CNC work. They do everything.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to start do this little thing.
Hey Dave, do you remember what it was that jumped the price up on JCP on the shipping? What was it? Was it the populating the board with some parts? Was that what it was? Yeah, I think it was. Okay.
I don't know. You were looking at it. I can't remember what day it is, man.
You blew that out of my mind with today's active probe stuff.
Okay. Anyway, guys, I got to run. So I'll see you later.
I think we're done. Thanks for your participation, everybody.
See you guys.
And we'll see you in January, if not earlier.
Talk to you all later. Thanks.
Good night, all. Thank you.